Truckers' voices.
Welcome back to Truckers' Voices, the show where we celebrate the men and women who keep America moving. Not just with freight, but with integrity, professionalism, and heart. We want to give a special shout out to our friends at Reese Across America Radio. You can catch them on the Odyssey app and the TuneIn app. Thank you for helping share the stories of the American professional driver and supporting this incredible industry. Tonight's guest represents what trucking is truly about: dedication, discipline, leadership, and legacy. From growing up in Jackson, Mississippi, to earning his CDL in 2013, to logging 1.5 million safe driving miles, to serving as a road team captain and a mentor, this is a story of purpose. He's not just a driver, he's a safety advocate. He's a leader, he's a father, and tonight we're diving into what it really means to be a professional driver in 2026. I'm going to bring my co-host on in here, and we're going to get the show started off here in just a minute. Hey, Steve-O, what's going on, brother?
How you doing, Tim?
Man, I tell you what, I couldn't wait for Truckers' Voices to get started, and we're fixing to really get this thing rolling there. But before, let's do some housekeeping here, and let's go ahead and do the disclaimer here, okay?
All right, sounds good. Opinions expressed on Truckers' Voices are those of the host and the guest and do not reflect the views of any employers, affiliates, or organizations. This show is for informational and entertainment purposes only.
All right, brother. Well, hey, we got a good guest coming in. I just kind of gave him the grand introduction there. So, without saying too much more, let's get ready to bring our guest on in here. Okay.
All right, sounds good.
All right, so let's get into it, everybody. We want to welcome to Truckers' Voices tonight, Mr. Cardell Benfield.
Hey, how y'all doing today? How y'all doing tonight?
Man, we're doing good, Cardell. It's good to have you on Truckers' Voices. Thank you for taking time to come and talk to us and share your story about how you got into the trucking industry and some of the things that's going on in your life that's been happening for you here lately, man. I'm going to let Steve say hi to you, and then we'll just jump right on into it.
How you doing,
Okay.
Cardell? Thanks
I'm
for
doing
being
pretty
on.
good.
Pleasure to
Thank
meet you.
Same here,
Yes.
same here.
We're excited to hear your story, my friend. And well, I guess let's get it going. I understand you grew up in Jackson, Mississippi.
That's
And
correct.
what drew you to trucking?
Well, truck driving was actually, for me, it was more of an escape route than anything. Growing up in Jackson, Mississippi, that's more of a low income area. So it wasn't a whole lot of healthy ways to get out of that situation. So my pops had actually started driving trucks when I was roughly about, I say about 7 or 8. And, we were making a transition to get out of Jackson, Mississippi and move to a better area. But it was still a lot of influences from not so necessarily, I would say, healthy influences. And, it did play a role in if I was going to be able to make it past 25 years of age. So, I thought to me that, hey, what could I do that would make sure that I actually live to a certain age? What could I do to make my parents proud and at the same time, make some money? So I saw it was working for my pops and I saw what he was able to do with it. And I was like, well, let's see what I could do. I feel like I could do it too because I saw him do it.
Right.
And, I took the leap when I was about 22, 23, and I hit the road, and I mean I hadn't looked back since then. So that's how I got involved in it. It was a way for me not to get caught in the stray and become, I guess you would say, a statistic and actually make it past 25 years of age.
Right. Now, how long you been trucking?
13 years now.
13 years. 13
Yes,
years.
sir.
All right. Tell us about the moment when you was 11 years old driving with your father's co-driver. And what stands out the most in that memory?
Well, it was my pop's co-driver shift. He would drive at night, and my
Okay.
pops he would be in the back sleep, of course. So I was just like any 11-year-old kid, slept through the day, stayed up all night, right? So, um, he was driving. He started out. I waited till my pops went in the back and went to sleep. I made sure he was sound asleep. You know when my pops asleep because he goes snoring. So when he was in the back sleep, his co-driver was going down the road, and I was like, "Man, let me drive." I was half serious, half not, and he was like, "All right." So back in them days, you could set the cruise control, and you can just take the seatbelt off, and y'all can switch going down the road. So that's what we did. I got behind the wheel, and back then it was the 22-inch steering wheel, so it was bigger than me. So I'm
Yep.
going down the road, and I was pretty good as long as I was just, going down the road. But I saw old school Peterbilt. He was coming up on me pretty fast in the left lane, and it kind of made me a little bit nervous. So I kind of got over to the shoulder a little bit, and he came on past me. And when he came on past me, I tried to get it back in the road, and he got on the CB, and he was like, "Driver, you need to pull over and take a nap. You seem like you're a little sleepy." So I got on the CB and I told him, "Hey man, I'm only 11 years old. You give me about 10 years, I'd be a better driver than you." So he must have believed it because he took off. I mean, he ran clear out of sight after I did that. So
Oh, oh, that's funny. That's funny right there.
yeah,
How did your parents shape the man and professional driver you are today?
man. Like I said, in the early stages of my pop starting to drive, we were still in Jackson, and I just saw my parents grind so hard to get us out of that situation. I saw my pops run as many miles as he could. I saw my mom work 2 jobs. And what that instilled in me was just hard work. From hard work comes success. So they instill hard work in me, and they showed me that, hey, if you put forth the best effort that you can, then from that you can be successful. You can have pretty much everything you want in life. So they shaped me in that way. Even to this day, like, I run as many miles as I can. I mean, I eat as healthy as I can. I do my best to donate to whatever charity I can because I saw them do it.
Right,
So, they shaped the hard work in me. They really did.
right, exactly. At what point did you realize trucking wasn't just something you admired, but something that you wanted to do as a career?
I would say, honestly, it had to be probably around about the second year, going into the second year. I started to see the benefits of being on the road. I started to see that. I saw that first W-2 form, and it was $40,000, and I seen that. Well, if I can make 40,000 my first year, this is back in 2013.
Right,
Then what can I do my second year? And then I started to notice how the company that I was with was actually starting to pay attention to the good work that you were doing. They would actually give you safety awards and stuff like that. And I saw that, well, if I stick to it, what could I be doing in 10 years? Like, how could I been elevated in 10 years from doing this? And I was like, well, my pops wind up telling me, you got truck drivers, and you got professional truck drivers. He said truck drivers look at it as a job, but a professional truck driver looks at it as a career. So, if you was to actually give it everything you got, you will see the benefits from it. So I was like, well, you know what? I'm gonna give it everything I got. I mean, I ain't got nothing else to do. I might as well keep moving toward, a goal in it. So that's what I did.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right.
Cardell, you earned your CDL back in 2013. I want to kind of walk it back and let's go back from the time that you earned your CDL. Take us through that process there and tell us what that first year was like, from earning your CDL, going through whatever you had to go through to get it. Talk to us about that.
Well, at the time when I was going to school, once again, my pops, he had the money to pay for me to go to school, but he made me work and pay my way through school. So I still remember that amount. It was $3,300. So
Yeah.
I had to. What I used to do is just to walk you through the process a little bit. We would have to be on the yard at 6:45 a.m. in the morning, and I would have to leave early every day, and I would have to be on the clock at work about 5. I was a busboy at an Italian restaurant, and I would work there from 5 to about 11, and I would just repeat that every day from Monday through Friday. And I wound up testing out. Back then it was 8 weeks. So tested out after 8 weeks, got my CDL. First company I worked for, they kept me out 3 months at a time. It was challenging because I'm a millennial. We used to technology. So we had a GPS in the truck. So it was more like if we go, we'll make as much money as we can. And I would just follow the GPS blindly. And it got me in some situations early on. It was some neighborhoods I had to bag out of, some cul-de-sacs I had to try to do a U-turn in, just because I wasn't trip planning like I should have been. I was just plugging it into the GPS in the truck, and I was rolling. It wasn't until I was on the phone and I was talking to another truck driver one time, and he was like, "You probably need to just stop and pick up a road atlas," which I knew how to read one from, my pops or whatever have you, but it just never occurred to me to go pick up a road atlas from the truck stop because it was a GPS in the truck and it had the coordinates. But I think it was the most memorable part of my first year was trying to get to a TA, and it took me a back road, and I had to. It was a cornfield. It was me, and it was a TA. So the cornfield was separating me and the TA, but the GPS was telling me to just keep straight. And after getting out that situation, I said, "Yeah, I think I better go ahead and start cracking open the road atlas."
Yeah. That GPS, she ain't right all the time. So
No, you're not.
for sure. So hey, I stuck a pin in something earlier on something that you said. I want to back up, and I wanted to ask this question. Um, you said that trucking got you into a different lifestyle,
Mhm.
and you don't know where you would have been had it not been for trucking. And growing up in Jackson, Mississippi, I know that that is an area that there's not a lot of job opportunities there, right?
Right.
Right.
That's
So,
correct.
so talk to us a little bit more about that growing up and how this trucking industry has really, really changed your life. Because you said you didn't know exactly, what you would have been done and what would have happened.
Yeah.
Talk to me a
Well,
little bit more about that.
I got you. So one of the stories I really do like to tell about that, which is the first time I think I actually said it. Well, our group can actually hear it. Just to kind of make things whole so people can understand. My mom, she always kept us in the nicest clothes, even though we stayed in a low income area. We always had nice clothes. We were quote unquote sheltered, even though we did stay in a low income area. So,
Hmm.
I used to go to school literally a street over from where we stayed. And, I would go to the school in the morning and I would have on new clothes. My shoes always match my shirt. And some of the other kids, they didn't have that from their parents or whatever. So
Right.
it got to a point where when I would walk across the field to get back to the house, sometimes I would have to like literally fight. I would have to. It would be kids that would be trying to basically take my clothes from me or my shoes from me.
Yeah.
So that right there, I think, kind of like if you understand, that's the environment that we were in, and
I-
truck driving, starting with my pops, because like I say, I'm second generation.
Yeah.
Him knowing that he's out here pushing his truck, trying to get his family in a better situation, you know, I think that really pushed him to go hard as he could so that we would get out that situation. So I would say fast forward to I was about 12. We moved to the suburbs. I don't know if y'all familiar with the show called Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well, in the beginning, he always say in West Philadelphia, born and raised, all of that.
Yeah.
And then, at the end, he was like, I finally consider my throne as the Prince of Bel-Air, where I've lived literally both ends of that. So it went from being in low income to about 12, we moved to the suburbs.
Yeah.
So what truck driving did for me, it did it with my pops first. So he was able to take his family out of a low income area. Before I was 13 years old, we stayed in the suburbs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what professional truck driving did for me as a kid. And like I said, I still would go to the hood when I was older and I could drive because I had friends that I had grew up with there. So,
Yeah.
it was still some bad influences, but I knew how much he had worked to get us out of that. So truck driving, to me, it seemed like it was going to be an alleyway anyway, because I seen what it could do for my pop's family. So I figured, well, what could it do for me?
Yeah.
So that's why I owe so much to the trucking industry, because it helped me out as a kid and now it helped me out as a man. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So
Yep.
I owe a lot to it.
Yeah. Well, speaking of owing a lot to the trucking industry, how in the world have you reached 1.5 million safe miles? That is a huge accomplishment for sure, And
Yeah.
and what does that mean to you personally?
Well, it to me, it means that all the dedication to progress, the commitment to safety, it all paid off.
Yeah.
It was some days, I like to call it, integrity moments. Integrity moments are those moments where nobody's going to see you not do the pre-trip. Nobody's going to see you, you know, uh, log the correct hours. Nobody's gonna, make see that, hey, he could have went down that road and said no trucks and got there like 5 minutes early, but he went around the long way like he was supposed to. Those integrity moments paid off by me reaching 1.5 million safe miles in a course of at this point 13 years. So it all of that hard work paid off where nobody saw me do it. It was just me. It was God who saw me do it, and this is like a reward for that. You see what I'm saying? So
Yep.
that's what it means to me.
Absolutely. And you know what? Doing the right thing when nobody's looking, that does tell me right there that you are a man of integrity, man. And I applaud you for that, for
Well,
sure.
thank you.
Your parents have done a great job when they were raising you, man. They instilled some good moral values in you for sure. Um,
Yes,
what
very much so.
Go ahead, Steve.
I was just saying yes, very much so.
I got you. What lessons you learned the hard way through trucking that's made you better?
Well, I will say it's a few of them. One for sure would be having a clean truck on the inside and out. And the reason
Yeah.
why I say that is this: you'd be surprised how many times, and I learned this later on when I became a Tennessee road team captain. But you'd be surprised how many times that I could have gotten pulled over and got a citation, but I get pulled over and a trooper will come and I'll open my door up and he'll be like, "It's a clean truck." I was like, "Yeah, yeah." I try to keep it as clean as I can. It's like, I'm gonna give you a verbal warning this time. I'm gonna let you go ahead and go. So that clean inside truck matching the clean outside truck, I learned that lesson, I would say pretty early, that hey, if you take care of your truck in more ways than you would think, it will take care of you. So that was one. Another one is don't be afraid to ask another driver for help. You
Right.
know, these days you got so many different outlets where you can go online and you can watch cameras on the highways from certain states or whatever have you. We forget to just, if you just walk up to that local driver that's in that area and possibly ask them, hey man, what's the quickest way to get to this place? Or how I can get over to this street? Like, you'd be surprised some of the different genuine people you would meet that'll probably be like, hey, I'm headed that way. I'll show you.
Right.
So just not being afraid to ask for help,
That's right.
yeah. And on the other side of that, another lesson I had to learn the hard way is don't be afraid to lend help to somebody either, because you may help somebody bag up and help them get in the spot. You know what I'm saying? And that driver may be able to show you something that you didn't know just from him, getting help from you. So I
Right.
would just say that whole camaraderie part too. I had to learn that the hard way. Like, it's okay to talk to the other truck drivers on the road, the professional truck drivers on the road.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, there's more good people out here in this world than there are bad. And unfortunately, there is bad, but there's more good people out here in the world. You just got to
Yep.
look around and open your eyes, and like you said, communicate with them. And what's been one of the most challenging moments in the OTR life for you?
More recently, it would just be away from my daughter. That was a challenge that I never thought would come. Like, you get in the snowstorms, the sandstorms, and you may have to get stopped. And they may shut down the interstate, and you literally be sitting in the right lane for 14 hours. And I thought all of that was challenging, but having a little you, and
What's her
um,
name?
her name's Korean.
Okay, all right.
Korean. So and having her, and you watching her grow when you're there, and then you kind of watch her grow while you're not there as well. It's just a different level of, I would say, difficulty than it's been in previous times. Like now, going through a snowstorm, I mean, I've done that enough. I kind of know what to do and what not to do. But
Right.
this, I only been doing this for 2 years, so I'm technically still a rookie when it comes to
Yeah.
being a parent. So yeah, that's been the most difficult part here recently.
Yeah, my son's 35 and my daughter's 27. I'm still learning, man. I'm still learning. So
Okay.
don't never stop learning, because now I'm raising adult children.
Oh man, okay, I ain't even think about that.
And your parents are still learning.
It don't get any
Okay.
easier either. It doesn't get any easier. The older they get, the harder it gets.
Oh my goodness.
I got
Okay,
I
so
got
you.
one I got one more question for you. I'm gonna let Steve jump in there in just a minute there. So how do you maintain focus, man, and avoid complacency? Year after year. You see, I'm a local driver, not local. I'm a regional driver here, LTL, and you're over the road. So I mean, how do you not become complacent?
Well, I found new ways to challenge myself, to be honest with you. Here recently, last year, what I've been doing a lot of, just to avoid complacency. Like, I may go in the truck stop. Sometimes I drive at night, so you may get to the truck stop 7, 8 a.m. or 8 a.m. in the morning. Ain't nobody really there. So you got your pick of the litter of truck and parking spots. You know what I'm saying? So what I normally do now is I'll set myself up to do a blind spot. Now, I mean, why not? I mean, I got the space, I got the time, I got the daylight. I'm done for the day. Let's work on this blind spot. So that avoids complacency with the backing. Because if I can do it blind side, I can obviously do it driver side. I feel like another way to avoid complacency with me now is, you know, um, I attempt to take loads that I probably wouldn't have taken earlier on in my career. Now, I'm not a New York City driver. I'm not going to Brooklyn. I'm not gonna do that. But we had a load here recently. I think about 2 months ago. They put on me. It's going to Vermont. Normally don't travel to Vermont, but I took it because you know it's something that I haven't done in so long. Let's see if I still can do it. It's freezing temperatures, even though it's not necessarily snow on the ground. It was -6 when I went up there. So I'm from Mississippi. -6. That's too cold for humans. So,
Yes, sir.
but it's different challenges. I had to blow a trailer out when I got up there. And normally when I get through blowing out my trailer with my blower or whatever, I got my little spray and I'll spray it down or whatever have you. I was spraying it down. As I was spraying it, the water was freezing on the blower. But never been an issue, but it's -6 degrees. So it's just a different way to challenge yourself. And then I can use that information and I can pass it along to another driver.
Well, sticking with over the road, you spent your whole career over the road driver.
Hmm.
What do you love the most about OTR life?
Well, and it's kind of cliche, but it's so true. Our office is the truck, you know, and outside of our window, every day is different scenery. I could literally be like I am now, headed home to Jackson, Mississippi, Ridgeland area now where I stay. And 3 days from now, I mean, when I leave back out, I could be headed to Arizona. I could be leaving, the forest and the trees, and I could be headed to the desert. I could see another part of the country. And as professional truck drivers, we know we move the country. It's nothing without trucking. And you actually get to see what you're serving and what you're fighting for every single day as an over the road driver, because your scenery is constantly changing. You're constantly running into different diverse people. So, it's like literally, in boots on the ground in a sense. So I think that's the best thing about being over the road.
Right, exactly. Now, I got an off the wall question because this happened to me a couple times back years ago. You're running hard. You pull in the truck stop. You go to bed. You get up the next morning. You, of course, I don't know if you run paper or you've always run ELD, but you always hear somebody on Channel 19 say, "What's the name of this town?" They're trying to fill out their logbook. Well, you go in, get your cup of coffee, grab you a biscuit, whatever, get out there on the highway, and you go the wrong way. You ever done that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I have most definitely. Yeah,
Uh,
I have.
yeah, buddy. Yeah, you're running hard. You got everything going in your head, and you just hook a right when you should have hooked a left. So,
Yep.
but tell me, what's one big misconception the public has about over the road drivers?
Um, One of the biggest misconceptions I would say they have about over the road drivers is that over the road drivers do not shower.
Yeah, brother. Amen. Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, they look at the line haul and the local drivers. They be like, well, they go home every night, every other night. So I know they getting showered pretty regularly. But when I first started, and I have had people ask me this here recently too, is where do you shower? And I'm like, at the truck stop. And like they got showers at the truck stops, and sometimes you will hear people come in the truck stop, and it'll be like shower 5, your shower is ready, and people will be like, they got showers here. And like, yeah, they got showers at the truck stops, and I shower every day. So one of the biggest misconceptions is OTR drivers are not clean drivers. That is not true. We shower every day, just like everybody else. You
Right,
know, most of us. I say most of us. I know I do. So
right,
yeah.
right, right. How do you manage fatigue and stay mentally sharp during the long hauls?
Um. Well, obviously the proper amount of rest. I sleep about 6 hours a night. 6, 7 hours is the most. It's probably all I need. And also I do meditation. When I stop and I actually get ready to go take a shower, I go in there and sometimes I just let the water run, and I would focus only on the water running. And I would do that probably about 10, 15 minutes, and I would just clear my mind of everything that happened that day. Everything, the main thing is that I got somewhere safe, and I didn't hurt anybody, I didn't hurt myself. So I would clear my mind of all of that, and meditation has helped me a lot. And also exercising. I exercise. I attempt to run 3 miles every day, but sometimes it's every other day. So
Right,
just that extra, you know, enthusiasm comes from me running. Being able to, I feel like, get further down the road and not be as fatigued. It comes from body staying in motion. Body in motion stays in motion. So yeah,
right, right. I think I know the answer to this question, but what's the toughest part about being away from home?
yeah, it's my daughter. It's my
Hey,
daughter. Well, yeah,
hey,
it's and the smile on her face when she sees me on FaceTime, and it's just it's nothing like it. It's nothing like it. That's the toughest part right now. But it gives me a reason to run hard and do it legally and get back home as quick as I can. So, I definitely got a reason to do the work that I do, and I definitely got a reason to get back home. So, that's the good part about it.
Right, right. And that truck is your home, so I'm quite sure you've got several pictures of your daughter and stuff hanging around there. So that kind of puts a smile
Yeah.
on your face when you're feeling down and everything. But what keeps you motivated during the long stretches of the highway?
I got a mission to accomplish. Every load is a mission to accomplish. Somebody needs that load for something. Somebody
Right,
needs that food, that wire. They need I don't it could be plywood. Somebody need it. That's the main thing. So I
right,
got to keep the load secure. I got to, stay on the schedule that I'm on because I'm moving America literally. So, that right there alone should keep all professional truck drivers just on task and doing their best to get the job done.
right. Good tunes on the jukebox too.
Oh yeah,
Got-
most definitely.
I think Tim's got a few questions for you, sir.
Yeah.
All right.
So I want to talk to you a little bit about, your leadership and your mentorship and, and the road team. So we're going to jump into that here real quick. Like, so you served as and I heard you say a while ago, as a Tennessee road team captain. And is
Mhm.
that, you said you lived in Jackson, Mississippi. I was trying to just somewhat trying to balance that, but your company is probably domiciled in Tennessee, right?
Yep, Shelbyville, Tennessee.
Okay, all right. So I finally figured it out with my little brain. I figured it out. You serve with them as a road team with some good guys because I know a lot of them over there from 2022 to 2024. So what did that role as a Tennessee road team captain mean to you personally?
Uh, it meant that I was an ambassador for the Tennessee Trucking Association. To me, an ambassador is somebody that it's kind of like I would say the forefront image almost for that association, and that to be able to go out and talk to you know the motoring public, be able to go to the community centers, the YMCA's, and be able to talk to them about staying out of the blind spots around the truck. It really it filled my heart in the best way because you know when you go the first year and you talk to that group of kids, you don't think you're gonna come back the next year and talk to the same group of kids. But you'd be
Right.
surprised sometimes when you come back, some of those kids are still there and they'll be like, I remember you. You told me to make sure my mom wear a seatbelt and I be on her making sure she wear a seatbelt. And you're like, wow, like you really touched somebody.
Right.
So, that role to me meant that as a professional truck driver, more than just moving a load, you can also get out and you can actually teach somebody something about being safe on the road, not just with big trucks, but just with everybody. And that's a different way that you can help America. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
what it meant to me. It just meant that I can do more as a professional truck driver than just move a load.
Yeah. You're making
I
a
can
difference.
educate. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
and you just reminded me of something. I mean, some of as long as I've been doing road team stuff, and as far as with the state, the company and the ATA there, uh, I've been to elementary schools, and then years later, I'd be into high schools, and the kids would say, "I remember you coming to my school doing a touch of truck." So it's pretty cool, when they
Yeah,
remember
it
you
is.
and they recognize you, And but anyway, what inspired you to? Well, you know what? Let me jump on into this one. What's the biggest responsibility that comes, with representing the industry like this?
Um, I would say the biggest responsibility is being yourself, but being a professional all the time. Um, I heard this from my mentor when I was actually going up to be an American Road Team captain. Like, you are truly a part of that image when it comes to the trucking industry. You truly are a part of that. So, you know, even though you may not be, in your shorter road gear or your, American Road Team gear, you are always going to be a part of that. That you are the image for the industry. So it's like You know, you just always got to be professional. You got to always walk and be the best version of you that you can be, you know. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you don't mind me asking, who mentored you through the selection process?
Anton Sadler.
Okay. All right. Good,
Yeah.
good, good man there. Good man. Good
Yeah.
man. So can you walk us through, and we're going to move on into the America's Road Team selection process and while we're talking about it here. So can you walk us through what the selection process for America's Road Team, what does it actually take to be chosen? I mean, Steve knows, I know, now you know, but I want the
Yeah.
listening audience to know what it takes to be chosen because it's not easy.
It is not. It is not. I tell you, everybody there was a heavy hitter. It was nobody that wasn't there that should not have been there. But from going through the experience myself, what I see that it takes is it takes you being yourself first and foremost. That is 100% true. You got to be yourself, but it also takes it takes I would say a lot of mental wherewithal as well.
Yeah.
That is so different from just operating the commercial motor vehicle. It takes you honestly, I'm gonna tell you, I had to tell myself after I was selected as a finalist that I am an American Road Team captain. Like I just started to manifest it in my mind first. Like I am an American Road Team captain because if you don't go in there to selections, not being cocky or anything like that, but you have to mentally believe in yourself that you can do this. Like this is where you're supposed to be. It takes a lot of that mental wherewithal to actually, I would say, accomplish this feat. You know, and it's I would say this too. Um, you have to be humble. You have to be humble
Yeah.
because the number itself, if you just I did the math when we got selected, it was officially 97. And I remember you saying this on the show a couple weeks ago. The number for CDL holders right now is 3.65 million. Am I correct?
You are correct.
Okay. Okay. So if you was divide that 97 from that, you get less than 1%. Less
Yeah.
than 1%. So that's a very small number. Just to be a part of that elite group should make you humble.
That's
And
right.
you know, I did my research on it. I know it started in 1986. That was before I was born. But just doing all of my research on it, it was like, okay, I see how much it takes to be this superior. So just go in it, be yourself 100%, but understand that you're going to have to always be the best version of yourself.
Right, right. And you know what? Of the 30 people that was there for selections, every one of them was deserving because they made it to selections
That's
you
correct.
know you just had to find a way to make yourself stand out a little bit, not too much, but you had to be yourself for sure. And you know what? Hey, yeah, I applaud them because I think they picked a good man to be a representative of the trucking industry for sure. So
Amen.
Oh yeah.
Amen.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So what part of the selection process, man, was the toughest? Was it the media, the speech, or was it the personal interview?
Honestly, I was actually looking forward to you doing the mock interview. I really was, Tim. I had been gearing up for you, and when I went in there and it was actually a reporter, I was like, okay, let's see how this is gonna go. And so what they did was they broke it down to three different subjects, and it was three different groups. So I fell in the middle group. So I had two people from the green team to go in first, and they told me, well, they're gonna ask you just simple, basically questions. It's nothing major. So I fell into the first person in the second group. So when you go in, I never forget it. Nikki was like, "All right, you're gonna be on Good Morning America. We're going live." So it was my accident with a bus colliding with a truck that was on the shoulder of the road at the rest area. So you're going live. Tell us what you think about it. And I was like, "What?" And in my mind, I was thinking that. And I'm like, "Okay." And I mean, like that right there, I was like, if I don't make it, it's because of this mock interview. I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna make it because of that mock interview. So that right there was my most memorable moment. Was I answered? I mean, I threw some facts at her that I got from ad read, and I mean, it was good enough. I made
Yeah.
it, but yeah, that's what I remember.
So that was probably the toughest part that you remember was going. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's tough, and you're put in those situations to kind of see how you handle the questions for sure. And I, 2 years ago, I got invited to be the mock interviewer, and I had fun with it, and I got remembered for it too. I guess you heard about me.
Yeah, I did. I did. I sure did.
All right, all right. So moving on. Let's tell the listening audience for drivers or companies who want to learn more about what the America's Road Team is about. Where should they go and what should they know before applying?
Well, if you want to know more about it, you can. That's the first person that I would reach out to would be the senior of industry affairs. Right there would be Serena Barnes. So if you want to reach Serena, the best way to reach her would be at her email address. That would be sbarnes@trucking.org. That's the best way to reach her. And she knows pretty much everything in and out about the American Road Team. Yeah, she does. And
Yeah, yeah,
another way is obviously American Road Team captain.
right, and they can also find it on Facebook and other places, social medias. They can find it there, and they can also go to trucking.org. Also, I've got it up on the screen there. I didn't know if you seen it come up on the screen also.
No, I didn't. I can't say it.
Yeah, I put it, but you did it right, man. You did it right there. So, um, well, and if somebody wants to, schedule an event, a school or a church or whatever, how do they do that? How do they go about getting an event scheduled to bring a truck in or something?
So they would have to go to trucking.org and they would have to go underneath the programs tab. Once you go into the programs tab, you'll see where it says American Road Team.
Mm-hmm.
You'll click on that, and then you'll fill out the driver request form, and that will go directly to the team at ATA, and they'll
All
get
right.
back to you in a very timely manner.
Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna move on with the interview, and I'm gonna let Steve-O jump in here and take care of it.
Are you a driver trainer?
Yes, sir.
Are you? Okay, so that's good, and that's a lot of responsibility right there. That's a lot
Yeah.
of responsibility. Uh, as a driver trainer, what's the first principle you instill in a new driver?
Patience. Patience is always going to be the most important thing when you starting out here, because now it takes me about what 5-10 minutes to plan a trip, and I could be going anywhere. When I first started out, that same trip may have took me 30 minutes to plan. You know, Backing up now, it could be in certain situations muscle memory. When I first started out, I probably would get out and walk around the truck 3 times before I was able to back up 10-15 minutes.
Right.
So, you know, patience would always be the first thing I teach them, that, hey, whoever may be blowing their horn telling you to hurry up, you got to remember that once upon a time they was in the same situation you were in. So just be patient, take your time, don't make an unnecessary mistake, and don't make one mistake turn into two.
Right. Exactly. And you hold you hold several different roles in the profession that you're in. You're a professional driver. Uh, you're a recruiter because people come up and talk to you about your company and about the industry and stuff. And you're a mentor. People look up to
Mhm.
you. Uh, what advice do you got to someone considering entering the trucking industry?
Well, I would tell them this: whatever reason that you want to do it, make sure that it's an internal reason. Don't make sure it's just an external reason. Make sure it's an internal reason. What I mean by internal meaning, are you doing it to better yourself, or are you doing it just for the title? Because it is people who would just want to be a professional truck driver just to say, hey, I drive a big truck. Are you doing it because you want to have a career? Are you doing it because you want to make your parents proud? Are you doing it because you want to be able to take care of your family? if you're looking to get into this industry, you got to understand that being a professional truck driver is a lifestyle. It's a life change. It's not just a job. So anybody that wants to get involved in the trucking industry, whether it be a professional truck driver or maybe in operations, are you doing it for an internal reason? I mean, money. I mean, we like the money, but
Yes, sir.
is it something internal about it that makes you want to be a part of this?
Right. Right. What separates someone who simply drives a truck and a true professional driver?
Um, it would be I would like to say they daily routine. I just say that because being over the road, you kind of see a lot of different things. One of the things that I actually like to do is, myself, I got a whole routine that I do in the morning before I get up
Right.
and before I actually get out the truck, along with what I do when I get out the truck. So I don't see too many people that don't do their pre-trip, but
Right.
I notice the ones that don't. Um, to me, I think that's where it starts. Before you even run that first mile, did you do your pre-trip? Did you notice that your mud flap was hanging off?
Right.
Did you clean your mirrors? So it would, to me, it starts with safety. A professional truck driver is safe all the time. A
Yes.
truck driver is just trying to make a dollar.
Yeah.
Safety falls somewhere along, maybe in the top 5 or 6. With a professional, that's number one.
Yeah. Driver just gets behind the wheel and takes off, and he really don't pay much attention. He just goes. You
Yeah.
know. It is what it is. All right. I believe Tim's got a few more questions for you there, sir.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep, and man, this time's really rolling on there, and you talked a little bit earlier about your daughter and fatherhood there a little bit, and I want to kind of circle back to that, and you said that becoming a father made you softer in the warmest way. You know,
Yes, sir.
how's that baby girl changed you?
My daughter has made me look at life in a whole new light because she looks a lot like me, but she's a little girl, and you know the things that I take in consideration now, um, more than I do now than I did before her. It would be how is something affecting somebody emotionally? Like being a man, we being a little boy, you would grow up, you fall, you hurt yourself. People like, oh, ain't get up, ain't nothing wrong with you, nothing like
All
that.
right.
Yeah, but you got that girl, you kind of run over there. Are you okay? Did you hurt yourself? It's like that part of, I would just say, being more emotionally available
Yeah.
now is what she did for me. It's like you go that extra mile to think about somebody else's feelings more than I ever did before. So yeah, that's she's worked hard on me with that real fast in just 2 years.
Yeah, yeah, and I can tell you, I've got a son and a daughter, and I was a little harder on my son when he was growing up, but there's just something special about those little girls, man. I'm
Yeah,
telling you, they and Steve can attest to that too, because he's got two boys and a girl.
Oh yes, oh yes, and she squeezed in between the two, so she had an older brother and a younger brother. So I had a little help there. They kind of
Yeah,
what was going on. That Dad didn't see what was going on. So
hmm
yeah, and being over the road, Cardell, how hard is that, and still being present, as a dad, and has fatherhood changed how you approach safety?
yes, it has. I mean, I've always been the safest I could possibly be, but what I notice now more than I did before is obviously because it's something that I have to see a lot of is children that may be in the back seat in car seat. Maybe are they strapped in? Is the parents trying to look back and make sure that they're not, trying to open the door or anything like that? So that little extra nugget of just having, a toddler, it makes me pay more attention to not only just that driver, but what's going on in the back seat as well. So it now the best way I could categorize how I handle being over the road but still being a present father, it would be when I'm over the road, I still make time to call and check on her. When I'm over the road, I still make that time when I stop to actually have a conversation with her as best we can. She only 2.
Right.
But when I'm at home, I make sure that I get my proper rest, but I still spend as much time with her as I can. Majority of my time spent at home when I get home now is her.
Yeah.
Like I do my best to go ahead and get all my responsibilities out the way when I first get home. And every moment from there is dedicated to her because I know she needs me and I need her too at this point. So yeah, that's my girl.
Yeah, yeah, and I can just imagine you can't wait to get home. Whenever you're out there, you're like, yeah, I need to get on home so I can, snuggle with this little girl.
And you know it. And you know it. I can't sleep right without her, honestly, a lot of times. So when I get home, that's the sleeping buddy. We got to sleep together. That's my daughter. I love her.
There you go. There you go. All right. So go ahead, Steve.
Yeah. Do you get take your truck home, or do you got to park it at the yard and drive home in your personal vehicle?
Yeah, so we have a yard in Jackson,
Okay.
Mississippi. It's the Goggin Warehouse, our sister company, and we park there. And we hop in our personal vehicles, and I'm only 9 minutes from the yard, so
Okay.
I go home there.
Now you said your little girl's 2 years old.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so she's at that perfect age. She's starting to walk and talk and everything. Do you take her over and put her in the truck like when you're cleaning the truck and let her, experiment with driving?
Oh yeah, that's a birthright. I got to. I remember when the first time she got in the truck, she was about what 13 months when she first got in it, and she reached for the air horn. First thing she reached for. So
It's
you
like that
know,
automatic. They know where that air horn is. They're looking for it. There, yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's
yes.
awesome. They keep them involved. But got to kind of touch base on the industry perspective and the legacy. Um, what does the trucking industry need more of right now? And how
Mm.
can drivers better represent the profession to the public?
Well, I feel like I need more women. I feel like we need more women professional truck drivers. They coming. I've actually trained. Half of the people I've trained have been women, and they're coming. They're coming. I feel like that. Me personally, from being able to train men and women digest information quicker than we do and better than we do. So
Right.
I would love to see more professional truck drivers that are women. The number has, like I say, went up, but I would like to see a more of a balance of that, you know.
Right.
Um, and what a professional truck driver pretty much looks like now, I would say in 2026, is someone who's clean cut, someone who's wearing clean clothes, someone who speaks in a professional manner, um, someone who's able to, you know, move the freight in an efficient amount of time and do it safely. That's pretty much what it is right now. In the industry, we have a lot of companies have, most companies have, they have started to invest in training and continually, doing some type of online training for safety. We just got to keep moving forward with that message. I think that's what the industry needs. We need to just keep moving forward with that message of safety because we've came a long way, but it's still some people out there. I feel like we just need to educate them a little bit more on safety.
Right. Exactly.
Carter, I want to jump in here and ask you a follow up question on that about more women in the industry, okay? And
Mhm.
you being a trainer, all right. So tell me this, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot by no means, okay? But is it easier training a female versus a male, and what's the biggest differences?
I'm gonna say this. I might get some flack behind this, but it's in my personal experience. It's easier to train a woman. It's easier to teach. I like to say teach because I feel like you teach human beings. It's easier to teach a woman than it is a man.
Yeah,
In my personal experience, the reason why I say that is threefold. For one, women are naturally cleaner than men, and I like to keep a very clean truck. And so that's That's one thing. Like I said, secondly, women, they take directions better than men do. It's not that we don't take it, and we don't be able to digest the information. It's just like from me teaching women, if I was to ask them to do something, they automatically would do it the way that I asked them to do it. They don't try to differentiate from it or say, well, I think I can do it better if I do it this way. You kind of get that little pushback with men, you know what I'm saying, versus a woman saying, well, he's a trainer. So if he's saying do it like this, unless it's unsafe, I'm just gonna do it the way he asked me to do it. And last but not least, most of the time the women feel like they got something to prove. They do. They don't feel like it's something that's just given to them because, they're a professional truck driver and they got a CDL. They feel like they have to show that they can do this job just as well as a man do. So, just from seeing those things and being like half and half with training both of them, that's the analysis that I have.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. I got one last question for you, my friend. When it's all said and done, what legacy do you hope to leave in trucking?
Well, I want my legacy to be one that was of hard work, one that was of dedication, one that showed that I had a commitment to safety, one that shows that I had integrity, and I wanted to be, if it was something that had something to do with safety or something that had something to do with um, protocol or something like that. Well, Cardell did it like this, and it was a great way to do it. I want it to be someone to be able to say that when Cardell did it, he did it the best way it could be done, and that's really what I want it to be.
Right. Right. Good answer. I like that.
Thank you.
Cardell, we're going to move into what we call the post-trip part of the show here, man. So it's time to put this show to bed, and it's going to live in infamy on. I didn't say that word right, but it's going to live forever out here on the internet. So this has been a good interview. We do appreciate it. We got about 3 minutes. I want you to just tell the listening audience, a word of safety and a word of advice, to somebody that, may be thinking about getting into the trucking industry, or truck drivers that is out there listening to us now or on the replay.
Okay. Well, when it comes to safety, I would tell everybody right now, watch that right mirror. Just watch that right mirror. You want to watch all your mirrors as much as you can, but recently here, I say that because I was in a situation going up I-81 where the lane opened up to the right because it was a point where the interstates were starting to split, and the wind blew me a little bit, and I got back over in the proper lane, but it was a car that came up, and I mean the car almost it disappeared for a second. Watch that right mirror. Stay in that right mirror. It's your blind side for a reason. They call it a blind side for a reason. So just make sure you're checking out all your mirrors, but double check, triple check that right mirror.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Absolutely. And that's good advice, because that right side blind spot is the biggest and the longest one that we have,
Yep.
So anyway, it's been great having you on the show. Man, you've brought, some powerful insight to the show, and we sure appreciate it. And just hang tight and you talk to us on the other side here for a minute. But Steve-O, word of advice, encouragement. We got 1 minute, Steve.
Yep. Like I always say, stay true, stay safe, and remember that most important trip is a trip home.
All right, everybody. What a powerful conversation we had tonight. Tonight, we didn't just talk about miles. We talked about the mindset. And we didn't just talk about safety awards. We talked about standards. So we didn't just talk about leadership. We talked about legacy. And that's what trucking's really about. To our guests, thank you again for representing the industry in excellence, And before we go off there, I just want to give a special thank you to our sponsor, Patrick Lauro. Make sure you check out his music and support those who support the trucking community. And if you enjoyed tonight's episode, be sure to follow, subscribe, and share to truckersvoices.com. Every driver has a story, and every story matters. We'll see y'all next time on Truckers Voices.
Trees line the roadside, the sun shines in the grass. Hilly hill behind me, another overpass. Loading out Abilene, headed to the coast. The freedom of the 4-lane is the thing I love the most. 18 wheels take me through rain and sleet and snow. 13 gears will pull me anywhere I want to go. Sometimes I wonder if it's worth it, but I know there's a lot of people out there that are counting on my